Hello everyone. We're going to graph inequalities. So inequalities in one variable will look something similar to this. Okay, so 1/2 y is greater than or equal to 7. This variable can be any letter. Generally, we will use x. But then we need to graph our solution. So in order to find our solution, we have to solve for our variable. So we're going to solve this inequality. This is 1/2 times y. Well, 1/2 times is the same as dividing by 2. So we're going to undo that by multiplying by 2 on both sides. Okay. Our 2's will cancel here. That leaves us with y, and then 7 times 2 is 14. So that is our solution. It reads y is greater than or equal to 14, and that means that any number that is bigger than 14 will satisfy our inequality. And then graphing it, we're going to use a number line. So graphically, this is what our answer would look like. Now, it's really important to notice that our dot above 14 is filled in. That means that it could be, that means that it could be equal to 14. So let's look at another example. Here we're just going to be graphing. So we have x is greater than -2. Well, go to my number line. Above -2, now our circle is open because it can get really close to -2, but it will never actually be equal to or touch -2. And then, of course, greater than, our number is larger, and numbers larger on our number line are to the right. Here's a little handy sheet that you might, or like notes that you might want to write down. So anytime you have a greater than sign, your circle will be open, and then your arrow will be pointing to the right. And then likewise, you can just read the rest of these. Open circle for both of these, closed circle for the equal to part of an inequality. One really important thing in order to use this and the arrow information, your variable must be first. Okay, your variable must be first in order to use this cheat sheet. So let's look at another example. We'll graph. We have a is less than or equal to 7. So we know it's going to be a filled in circle, and since it's less than, our arrow will go to the left. Okay, when you go to graph, don't worry about filling in a bunch of numbers on here. You can just do the one we're worried about. G is greater than 5.8. So here we have an open circle and an arrow to the right. I want you guys to tell me when we have V is greater than or equal to -6, will it be an open or closed circle? And then will our arrow go left or right? So answer both of those. Okay, a couple more examples. Our next one here is what I'm talking about. We have 12 is greater than B. So we could graph this, but before we do that, our variable must be written first. So we have to rewrite 12 greater than B. When we flip-flop the order of our variable and our number, we have to flip our sign as well. Okay, so we're not changing the value of this inequality at all because this says 12 greater than B. If you read it from right to left in our new inequality, it still says 12 is greater than B. So this is now what we're going to be graphing, and now we can follow that chart that I made earlier, being an open circle and an arrow to the left. Okay, finally, you might be given an inequality, a graph, and you have to write the inequality. So here we have a closed circle and an arrow to the right. We can choose any variable. I stuck with x. That is x is greater than or equal to 10. Here's another one. Open circle with an arrow to the left. X is less than -7.